Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
I am Scott Allwood.
Episode 3, hashtag Banately, I believe it's called. Describe what happens with Nelson and Corey, because the winner will get the grenade, but what happens?
I love let's reel it back a bit. I love this elimination arena. This place is beautiful. It looks so cool.
It looks very good.
But yeah, the grenade is if you can choose, if you win, you can either choose 3 different options. We're not given those options right away. But TJ's just like, hey, it might not be so bad coming into elimination. And getting everybody like, interesting. I like this. Where's this going to go? And then we see one of the most embarrassing fails of an elimination I think that's ever happened. These 2 guys are in protective gear in front of goals, and they have masks over their head, and there's a fire in the middle of them, and there's a ball that they have to kick to the other person and get.
The ball's on fire at the time. Everything's
also
on fire. Yeah.
And so these guys start. Nelson straight up says, "I've never even played soccer," and I'm like, "What?" It's not, I mean, it's just kicking a ball. Like, I mean, it's more than that, but at the same time, I'm like, you're acting like you would have had to known much more about soccer than to just kick this ball. Like, soccer has nothing to do with this. This is just you kicking a ball to the other side. But they start kicking this back and forth. And,
well, honestly, if you break it down, like, again, you've made challenges, I've made challenges. You have to
this is such a cool idea.
The worst.
Yeah, this is such a cool idea.
Yes,
but
very cool idea.
For some reason, Nelson's not able to kick this thing across even halfway. Devin has a quote that made me laugh. He's like, Nelson can't kick it halfway, and Corey's sending it to the moon. And you see these attempts by each of them, and it is just so funny. Like, how is one not able to kick this at all, and the other one able to kick it out of the arena? Like, what is going on right now?
It was like gonna fly into the forest and burn the forest. It was gonna fly into producers. Like Corey's kicks
it almost
were
hit the
all
audience,
over the place.
Yeah, or the other challengers.
Yes, but when it started off, Corey actually got a really good kick in. It went through the fire hoop, and then Nelson stopped it. It looked badass, but then after a while, I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? You have to take away that. Maybe it should have just been kicking, and that's what the producers had to do. They're like, okay, well, without
they were just
goalies,
very limited to having to be goalies. Goalies, and they couldn't move around. They should have let these 2 go all out with the fireball and try to kick it in each other's goal.
That would have been awesome.
But at the same time, I loved how much of a fail this was. So to see this all play out was just super funny.
I would have liked it better if it weren't with the 2 guys where I'm like, hey man, you guys go up there, you challenge the establishment and like win and shit. That's what sucked for me. I'm like, no, like you guys are so much better than this. But
yeah, I'm always on these guys' side.
Yeah.
And Corey just had such a beautiful speech at the beginning of this elimination. He was just talking about like how he just lost first on Champs versus Pros or Champs versus Stars, and how he was in the first elimination of Dirty 30. And you could just tell he wanted to feel that success again. And then, with which he had such a great success for his first few challenges, and then to know that he's leaving, and it's just too bad. But I mean, Nelson's my boy. I didn't want Corey to beat Nelson.
Honestly, yeah, I was leaning more towards Nelson because I think Nelson is the far more athletic competitor.
Yeah,
what he did in Invasion
chance.
of the Champions finale against CT, I'm like, Nelson, you fucking won it. But then they were like, no, it was CT. I'm like, okay, I guess.
I had a hard time believing that. I felt they just wanted to give CT a win, and then they took that away from Nelson, and it kind of pissed me off because I'm like, look how fucking well he did, though. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God! Don't get me started on that. I'm so glad that you feel the same way
What
about it.
also is this like Corey and Alicia situation? They're apparently like, because they're all like, "Oh, I don't want Corey to leave because he's mine," and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to leave because of Alicia," and I'm like, "Where the fuck was this romance even at?" Or like they've apparently known each other for a little bit.
Yeah. I thought they were kind of seeing each other, and they were like, "We're keeping it light." Didn't they say that? No.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I'm pretty
episode
sure that
one or something. Like
they said like they just it's just to be so heavily thrown at us during this moment was just so bizarre to me that I'm like, wait, nobody's invested in Corey and Alicia. Why are you showing us all this stuff? But I thought it was super funny because Corey ended up losing. Which let's backtrack to that. They
that?
had to stop the elimination and then just say, "Hey, go get out of the goal." And you just got to kick this ball into the net. That was what got Corey eliminated, is that he couldn't
Yes.
kick a ball that he had been skyrocketing into
Yeah.
into Nelson's goal, because Nelson got it, and then Corey just gave it a little baby tap. Maybe he was too afraid it was gonna skyrocket again, but he that's how someone got eliminated. Like when you really think about it, what? Like this is a show on MTV, and someone just got eliminated for not being able to kick a fucking ball into a
Uh,
goal. It's so
yeah.
silly.
I mean, like even Nelson's win, like he was so awful, but then they were like, "Okay, Corey, walk away," and he kicks it like he usually does, but it just happened to be more lined, and it went through the loop, and it went so slow, but it just went right in there, and you're like, "Okay, good for him." We're just gonna go till whoever misses first or whatever, and yeah, Corey was just like, "Well, that's clearly how you have to do it. You have to just kind of barely hit it, and it'll just roll it right in there." But it sucks. It's like I've been there before when you're playing pool at a bar and you're like, hey, you just gotta tap it in, and it's just way too
Right.
late. You know what I mean? So it's tragic, man. But between the two, I'd rather choose Nelson. Nelson gets the grenade, and is this why we're told what it does, but we don't get to see who he
I
chooses?
just want to
Yeah.
state real quick that there was this whole buildup with Alicia and Corey, like, oh my God, Corey's gonna leave and I'm gonna be here, blah blah blah. But when Corey leaves, he doesn't even turn around to say goodbye to her. He's just that disappointed and just fucking leaves. And that's why I also thought the buildup was super weird and unnecessary, because Corey was just like out. He's like, I lost, bye. And Alicia
But at
even
the
says, oh my God, like he didn't even say goodbye to me and or hug me, and you know that they can do that. So Corey just straight up was so mad about losing the elimination, which I get, but it was just weird in the context of the episode where they were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose because of her. Anyway, sorry, the grenades.
I actually, you know what though? If okay, Corey and Alicia, right? Corey and Alicia, they have a thing, and you think, okay, well, they're just building this up, so his loss and his departure is more whatever. But apparently not true. Bananas, fucking, he's like, I'm gonna take her out too. I'm just like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? But like, he apparently he's like, no, Corey loved that person, so I'm gonna get the like. I'm like, what the fuck? It's
I
like
really
those.
he said something later in the episode that I really thought was a great point about Alicia, is that she's nobody on the scale of anybody.
Well, I guess before we get into the hashtag vendettas, you said like how Nelson was like, "Hey, man, fuck you, Kyle," but before the hashtag vendettas thing, the over the water mission, it's time for him to figure out what he's gonna do with the goddamn grenade. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, wait, oh, you got to clarify another thing. Can he not use the grenade on any of the Trioka? Right?
Right,
Is that what happened? Okay.
right.
All right. That's interesting
We got to talk
because
about how attractive Melissa is, how Brittany is always naked. You don't think Melissa is attractive? What?
no, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, the girl with the gash by the cut on the
Right,
foot,
because then
right? Yeah,
she,
yeah. No,
because she said
she's
something.
hot. She's
She said
she's
something
very
very smart.
British.
She was talking to Nicole and stuff, and she's like, Nicole's one of the strongest people. like in this game, and I want to be aligned with the strongest people. So it's just nice to see these new people actually think beyond the day to day and to think like, hey, this person's most likely going to be winning stuff, so I
Oh
want to be
yeah,
on their
they made
side.
out. They did they do more than that?
They just
Like
had the little thing that was like kissing, the little kisses.
okay, so they didn't eat out at Wendy's or anything like that, huh? All right. Well,
No, no,
that's fine.
they didn't eat each other's pussies, as far as I know.
So Melissa must have been so sexually frustrated that she did a cartwheel and then cut her foot on a lamp. Is that what happened?
Right. And
Yeah,
how,
it was
like, I
her.
was watching this, like, oh, that's a funny clip that they're doing. Like, she's being silly. She looks like she's having a good time. But no, she fucked her own foot up so bad that she's getting, like, having to go straight to elimination. She doesn't even get to participate in the challenge itself.
That is absolutely insane to me. Since when do people get thrown automatically into
I just did
elimination
not think
ever
that was
with an
fair.
injury?
I mean, I'm just starting to like seeing Melissa around, and now you're just gonna look how much great entertainment she brought that episode at that
Ah,
point, and then
Jesus
you're gonna just
Christ.
tell her to get the fuck on out of here.
It comes at a price. You know, these things, they come at a price.
Which is also crazy how much Punani Nicole is getting from all these single straight women. Like, it's always been
Yeah.
a thing since even on her original season Skeletons. Like, she's just, there's something, like, she has to be super cool and chill in person or something. Like,
The thing about it is that these are women falling for a woman who acts more like a man. You know
more
what I
like a
mean?
man.
She's more butch, and I'm like, is that the secret? Is that I mean, like, not that I could do anything with that information, but I'm like
Is that the
it's
secret to
interesting
what?
how I don't know. I was just like,
You want
that's
to doll
very
yourself
interesting,
up
but
to look
yeah.
like a lady to get lesbians? I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm like, eat me out, bro. They're like, what? Like, none of that really. Like, our guards are up after you said that. Well,
But yeah,
let's get into the. Yeah.
hashtag. I think this is looks so fun. I don't quite understand what they're doing even still now, but it looked
No.
fun. Shane did not think it
Well,
was fun, but it looked fun.
yeah. He was a scared man. So was Kyle, right? Didn't they just kind of
Yeah,
freeze up
yeah.
and yeah. What I will say about this is that it's that big hashtag thing, and you got to walk over the water, which is like people do that all the time, but now they have to walk by each other,
Oh yeah,
almost
wait.
politely, like.
Nelson and his grenade happened before the actual challenge, so he played it smart at this point in the game and just took some money from somebody. I think he should have taken it from Bananas because he could still be cool with Joss.
He was part of the Trioca,
Oh, right.
right?
That's yeah, he was. That's a good point.
Or no?
So he had to take
Was
it
he?
from somebody.
I'm trying to look at my notes from episode 2. Yeah, he was part of that. Yeah, never mind. But hey, you know what? Joss has the most money. You know what I mean? It's almost obvious that someone would go after it. So yeah, very smart move.
I don't think that he was the one that decided to do that. I feel like there was someone in the background that had a conversation with him that was like, because I love Nelson to death, but I don't think that he's the brightest when it comes to being on the challenge.
Well, didn't Devin try and work his magic on him or something like that? Like we're just talking about all the missions and the Trioca business, but like the stuff in the house, I felt Devin try to get at Nelson and say like, "Hey, listen, dude, like you're all alone, and I see that." You know what I mean? So we got to work
Nelson's
together
a
and
good
shit.
person to have on their side. I don't know why people would not want to align with him. He is a threat, big time. Like, be on my side, bud. Not so much in episode one, but or where he lost the show, the little balls and whatnot. But anyway, hashtag is a place like
Hashtag vendettas.
they're up in the sky, and they got to run to like the other sides of each part of this contraption to like pick up little hashtag signs and put them on their beginning spot.
No, it's actually the opposite. They have to take hashtags from their beginning spot and put it on all the everyone else's rungs or rings or whatever.
That
Yeah,
makes more sense.
yeah. I mean, it's still the thing is though. It's like everyone has to move very dainty like, so it's all just kind of silly. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be badass every week, but it was really bizarre that like, that the only time we get someone pushed, that's Nicole pushing Alicia down, I think, like that. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, how dare you?" You know what I mean? Like everyone's just like, "Whoa, where is this coming from?" You know?
And out of all people,
And
why her?
yes,
I don't.
it was.
I
I don't know.
don't see her as a threat in the game at this point. She's new. She's not done nothing to. It just out of all people, you pushed her down. What?
She can't help it, Nicole. She's got those testosterone shots, I'm sure, and it's just kind of working against her, man. Like, you know, she wanted to sweat it all out before the season began, but thus it's still in her system, man. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I totally. I was just like, Nicole, stop, knock it off, isn't it?
Like Jimmy
she's a
summed it up to
douchebag.
where it was like, okay, you think you look that was cool, and that made you look like whatever, but you just look like an asshole.
No one else did that the entire time.
And if she was
All
going
I
to do
have
that, why
written
not do it to
down.
everybody up there? How is that even a thing? She should have been eliminated from that mission and sent straight into the elimination with Melissa, who got thrown in for such a shit reason.
Yeah, that's right.
But then
That's
again,
that's totally.
I'm glad it didn't because there's some great moments in this episode that come directly from the what is it, the Inquisition, like that whole thing.
Yeah, the Spanish Inquisition, man. No one suspects it. But I just wanted to get at. Okay, this is all my notes. I'm just gonna tell you all my notes. Devin wins the 12,500.
Hell yeah, he
I
did.
believe.
Devin,
Yes.
what up?
Like that's really like he like I know that my other co-host Dave, he's like, man, that Devin guy, he's something to look out for. I'm like, well, he's got a way with words, and he knows what's right to do or how he should do things, but he physically isn't there or whatever, and he doesn't get the numbers as like he should, but he's in shape. And this is a weird thing to do. Really, it's a really weird mission. Like the most unusual people did really well on this thing.
Yeah, Victor was like, it was really just how you dealt with the being above water and having to walk. Victor was fucking jumping all around up there,
Oh yeah,
making it seem like it
yeah,
was no
that's
big deal.
right.
And then Shane's he was cracking me up, but I felt so bad for him because I'm a huge fan of Shane, and I don't want him to see
Yeah.
him like not do well in a mission.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, he was totally scared. But you know what? I think what it is that the lighter, smaller guys that are dainty, they're able to just when they take a step, it doesn't, affect the machinery or the contraption. I think that's what it came down to. So Devin got 12,500, and then Bananas got second place. And he was like, I think right immediately after Devin. That was crazy. And then Natalie gets 12,500 out of the women. Those three are in the Trioca. And it's good to see a woman there, right? But it's Banana's woman. So you're just
Right.
like,
But at the same time, it's Devin. Dude, he, in this room, just like Brad was with the last episode, he just wasn't like holding any punches. He was letting them have it. He was like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna choose Alicia, and who do you guys want? Who are your people that you don't want?" Like, basically calling their squad out
yeah.
in a
That's
worse
true.
way
That's
to
very true.
do it.
I remember Devin, he was like, well, because I think all of what Natalie said was like, well, I just made friends with Veronica. I made friends with Kylie. Is that her name?
Kayla.
Kayla. And I thought it was funny because after she, brought those women aside and said, hey, listen, I just want you to know that I'm not going to put you in.
When I was first seeing that, I was like, what are you fucking doing? This, you're gonna take two people aside and then tell them this makes no sense when these people don't even like have a a relationship with you. I understand that she was like going for like people she perceived as having power. Kayla can win eliminations. Veronica is a veteran. She's been in the
Veteran.
game a long time. She has that pull, but it just seems so strange with how Kayla and Veronica saw it. I feel like Natalie genuinely was like, these two people, I want on my side, and they took it as,
A threat.
what's this bitch doing? Like, get the fuck out of here. We don't want anything to do with you. You're just trying to what? Like, put your fingers in all the pot, like the one pot, and you want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah, and you got to think everyone should know that her and bananas are sort of a thing, right? I mean, this fucking episode is called #Banatally. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think bananas is who gave her that advice. He's like, listen, you got to use these next few hours of whatever power you have to make moves, but it just does not work out for Natalie. Even though she sticks to her guns, I mean, she sticks to her word. She doesn't vote in any of those women. She votes in, I don't even know who she votes in, but the three women nominated.
I think
was
she
Alicia.
voted in Cam because during the meeting, I remember Cam being like, hey, which one of you fuckers put me in here in this position? And Natalie was pretty straight up like, that was me. And
Is that right?
I don't even know much about Cam until this moment, and I'm like immediately a fan because you can tell by looking at her that she can go into an elimination and wreck shit. And she was like, if you put me in, know that I'm gonna come back and
Yeah.
I'm gonna come at you.
What were the three again? Like, I wrote only the two. It was Alicia and Cam,
And then
the British woman. It was like Nicole.
I want to say
not
her name's
Nicole.
Kayla as well, like a different
Kaylee, right? Kaylee. I gotta write that down because I have no reference to her. I know her fucking accent and her name and her big old titties. And, but no, it was great and not great because as soon as they opened that door and Devin, Bananas, and Natalie walked out, I'm like, look at that, three sisters on the wall.
right.
Bunch of bullshit right there.
Are you picking the rookies or are you guys just crazy?
I mean, come on. Three white people go into
Oh
the
my
room
God.
and three black people are nominated right there. But anyways, it's Cam, Alicia, and Kayla. And when this Inquisition happens, when these three women sit down, I'm just like, oh, damn. Like, honestly, Alicia's hot, but Cam's hot as well, but she's just like, that she's showing up prepared. She's ready to do shit, like in any fucking situation. Like, where did she come from? But I love it. And then Kayla, she's got that British sort of like, oh, well, how dare you, and shit
If
like
I
that,
was in that Inquisition on the other side of that table and I was looking at my choices, I'd be like, I'm not going fucking near Cam ever again. And anytime I'm in the Inquisition room, I'm going to go, do not go for her. I'm not going to be a part of that shit because that will come back on me.
Damn, that is so great. I mean, if anything, I would have someone else nominate her just so I could have a pleasant dinner with Cam. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's it, right? Like, they talk and that's about it. Yeah. But it's like a non-cliffhanger, like really, sure, it ends. I'm like, who do you think we're gonna put in? But like, I just feel like it needs a more dramatic punch to
Maybe
things.
that's what they're doing. They feel like people aren't going to tune in for some reason if there's not at least some type of cliffhanger, which I think is silly.
Ridiculous. You mentioned like how you just, if you want to soak in viewers, you don't do it as a soap opera. You know what I mean? Like, soap operas are one of the worst things to just try to tune into. You know what I mean? You're like, why are those two people looking at each other for like 3 minutes and stuff? Like, what the fuck does this mean? And it's just, that's not what you do. But I'm just going to shut up because it's on every goddamn week. Like, it's crazy. This is when I first started watching this show. I'm pretty sure that's what I wanted. I'm like, no, this is great because as soon as Fresh Meat 2 ended, the very first season I ever watched, I'm like, bring it on, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, what am I gonna watch now? But I think the reality is that you're gonna have to stretch shit out. Producers like, hey man, you want this shit all the time. It's not going to be as great. It's like marriage. You know what I mean? You're not going to get laid every fucking day like you used to. It's just going to be prolonged. Maybe on your birthday. I don't know. I'm rambling. I have no more notes. So if you have more notes, then we're going to have to go on that. But that's all I have written down.
I do not have any more notes because that was the end
No?
of the episode. And why would I have notes for after what I'm going to talk about the credits? Oh man, those credits this week really they got
Well,
me.
I assume maybe I rushed by some shit that should have been mentioned. I don't know. The stuff in the house, I'm trying to think. Natalie, I find extremely hot, but I am extremely disappointed with her choice in men. You know what I mean? It's crazy. She's like,
I don't think she's thinking
that
much about it.
I know Bananas is immature, but that's refreshing, she says. And I'm like, that's refreshing? An immature man in his 30s that acts like he's 19? Like, what the fuck?
Didn't even
like,
think about that. That is so funny.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. But that's all I have written down, Scott. I mean, it's a good season, though.
Dirty 30 was a chore. But I don't feel like this season will ever get to that point. I think a lot of it has to do with the trifecta.
The Holy Trinity, the Father,
The deliberations,
Son.
man. That shit is just so good no matter what at this point. And
Yeah.
you didn't really have that in Dirty 30. It was like, oh yeah, let's nominate somebody. You're gay. Nerd.
No. Kermit the Frog was the producer of the show.
He got eliminated third, I think.
All right, well, you know what? I think this is as good as any. I mean, I know that you have a certain time that you got to get out of here, so...
This podcast was good. I'm confident about this pod.
This was good. You sound like Trump. This podcast was great. I am very good at podcasting, okay? One of the best. Okay, I got to get out of here because I'm already making fun of Trump, and that's not where we want to be at all.
Hey, so, I got to get going first, so...
Yeah?
Because of more important things.
All right, well, Battle of the Challenges podcast. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
Check out Scott Allwood's videos.
If that's me. That's who's been talking with Vincent this whole time. Me, Scott.
Yeah, it's me, Scott. I'm good at podcasting. You should check it out. All right, well, that was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And me, Scott Allwood.
The good podcaster just nodded and walked away from the camera. I'm like, oh my God, that's great.
That's it.
All right, dude. Scott,
you don't deserve me on this
go.
podcast. I'll take it elsewhere. Hey, soon, look out for Battle of the Other podcasts.
Oh my
starring
God.
Scott.